The Great Battle for Truth was really a fight for tourism. Welcome to Hidden History with Frank Strickland. Thank you for watching.
The year was 1925. The place was Dayton, Tennessee, and the whole world was holding its breath. For weeks, the headlines screamed of a colossal clash, a battle for the very soul of this young nation. On one side, the bedrock of tradition, faith, and the literal word of the scripture. On the other, the relentless march of modern science, challenging all that was held sacred. It was the great confrontation between the fundamentalists and the evolutionists. The stage was a sweltering Rhea County courthouse, and the combatants were giants: William Jennings Bryan, 3 times a candidate for President of the United States, a thunderous orator defending the biblical account of creation, and Clarence Darrow, the most famous defense attorney in the country, a legendary skeptic defending the cause of academic freedom. The trial itself was a circus. Reporters poured in, setting up telegraph wires beneath the trees. Monkeys were sold on the courthouse lawn. A hot dog vendor proclaimed his dogs were evolutionary. The crowds were immense, a throng spilling from the courtroom, hungry for a verdict in the case against the local teacher, charged with breaking state law by teaching that man evolved from a lower form of life. The central figure, the very man who had allegedly committed this crime, was a popular local football coach and substitute teacher. His name was John Scopes. And the whole thing, the entire world-shaking era-definumental Scopes monkey trial, was his idea. Well, almost his. You see, Dayton, Tennessee was suffering. Times were hard. Business was slow. The local barbershop owner, the drugstore clerk, the owner of the Robinson drugstore where the fateful decision was made, they were worried about the town's bottom line. They needed a miracle, a shot in the arm, a way to put their little town on the map and fill their cash registers. They saw an advertisement placed by the American Civil Liberties Union. The ACLU offered to defend, free of charge, any teacher willing to challenge Tennessee's law banning the teaching of evolution. The local businessmen had an emergency meeting. "This is it," one exclaimed. "Free publicity, the nation's spotlight." But who would be the defendant? They approached the young, easygoing coach, John Scopes. They weren't sure if he had actually taught evolution in his class. He couldn't remember himself. He was just filling in. But they offered him a deal. Agree to be arrested, agree to be the defendant, and they would see to it that his legal bills were paid. Scopes agreed. He was not a martyr for science. He was a good neighbor helping his town. In fact, one of the leading figures who pressed him to take the case was the local superintendent of schools, and a devout man of the church, George Raplaya, who had seen the ACLU advertisement and wanted to boost the local economy. So, the great moral battle, the legendary test of wills, the epic showdown that pitted faith against reason and made history, was a manufactured event, a shrewd business calculation, a clever publicity stunt designed by local merchants, and a friendly football coach to draw tourists and spenders into town. The whole world watched the drama of salvation and science unfold, without ever knowing that the engine driving the entire spectacle was the need to sell a few more ice cream cones and a few more hotel rooms for Dayton, Tennessee.